back again. It's been a few weeks since maybe a month, probably over a month since I've posted that last video on this thing. Haven't been doing much, still doing some stuff outside. Last weekend was the Port Townsend Boat Show, so I was up there mingling around, and I think I had, well, Chuck and Sandra from Duckworks were the only people that recognized me instantly. Everybody else, I was like, oh yeah, right. So that's good, I guess. It's better than being a Hollywood star and having the paparazzi follow me around. So you can see the hole. Got a hatch here, and I cut out my rings. And one of the things I do is I've gone on to Duckworks, and I've downloaded, I don't know, the pages for all the little fittings, so I have my own numbers when I'm working up parts lists. And one of the things that I did too, or one of the sheets, was the hatches. Those stinking hatches. So it gives me the idea of the layout and the hole size I need to cut. And you can see this outer line, well, maybe you can't. There's an outer line here which was the maximum out, and I put that on there because when I put the glass tape over here, I want to be certain always that the rim of the hatch doesn't set on the tape and make it set cockeyed, so when you seal it or screw it down, it doesn't put a warp in the hatch, and it doesn't want to seal right. So I know that line is there, and when I put the tape on, I will probably put a little bit of blue tape, maybe a quarter of an inch, eighth of an inch to a quarter of an inch above this line, and then I'll come back when it's it's gone cured out a little bit, and then take my knife and cut it along the edge and pull the excess away. And the other thing I did too, always measure twice, cut once. So you'll see these two circles. Well, they're similar but different. This one is the correct one. This one on the stern bulkhead is slightly larger. Somewhere along the line when I was using my compass, or the compass with a pencil on it, I must have hit the thread because I was following the line. But I don't know if at the end of this video, or maybe I'll do a separate one. It's not like metal where you can weld up some extra, so I'll show you a way to use easy fillet to bring me back into shape again. So, and it's pretty cool with epoxy and plastic. So let me reset up. We're going to start doing some jump stitching with GelMagic. I was able to get a couple tubes of GelMagic. I'm not going to use, let me reset up here and we'll show you what I'm going to do. On the center seat section, I drilled some holes yesterday, and originally had them taped, and I thought I could get away with doing the tape and the GelMagic to hold them together, but it was just a lot easier to wire them up. So what I do is I'll just draw around the perimeter. I'll draw a line like that on each one of these panel sets, and then that's where I'll drill at about, I don't know, about 3/8 of an inch in behind. So I know that when I put them, like this faces together, and I drill through that line, when they pop open, that the wire will be at the right spot. So I got clamps up in here, and it's standing a little proud around the top. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some of these clamps away, and they're just kind of setting here, not a lot of tension. So I'll be able to pull these guys away. I'll be able to put a little bit of GelMagic in these gaps here. I don't want a lot. I just want something to tack it, because the top here is from the old design, is still screwed to the centerboard case. So once this cures tonight, then I'll pull these two screws out and pull the whole thing, and we'll work on the inside doing some I'll do 100% GelMagic fillet on the inside, and then we'll use Easy gee, mini Christmas, easy fillets on the inside. And may glass tape, may not. Depends on how big the fillet is. I got a new caulking gun. It's a Cox, made in the USA in Michigan. I tend to buy made in the USA stuff. So if you're in another country, support your own labor workforce. So I just squeeze this into a cup. You just pull the cap off and the plug out. I've got a little dragon fang thing, but I didn't want to go looking for it. So it fits on there, but you can't get him anymore. So that's neither here nor there. So I'm gonna mix up some GelMagic. I find it's easier to squeeze the GelMagic out of the Utah tube than it is out of the bottles. My old hands just don't want to squeeze those bottles that tightly. So we'll give this a good stir. It coloration, comes up pretty quick, but you want to give it a good 1 minute. 1 minute stir here. As I was saying though, on the backs of these face plates I had some more 1/4 inch scrap that I just segmented in behind and then glued them and kind of cut out circles. They were big enough pieces left over basically from when I cut out these panels here, and so I was able to make backing plates, which you need because the 1/4 inch single sheet is just too thin for a screw to hold, long enough screw. So I make them a little double thickness, so it's a 1/2 inch thick, and it also gives it some stiffness against impacts. So let me get a little piece of plastic here. You never know when you're going to dribble. Okay, so we're just going to on the regular build plans, there will be a different kind of box construction, and when I get done here I'll show you. I know there's a builder in Canada that's didn't want the dagger board, or I don't know if Barry's going to put in hatches or not. He may say I don't need no sneaking hatches. And I've said we're just putting in some temporary glue here just to hold it in place until I can take it off tomorrow and put it all together. And then I'll break out a mixing nozzle for the Utah tube. We've had surprisingly good weather in Seattle. It was beautiful up at the wooden boat show. I don't know how many of you went up there. Good crowds. Got to see some of my friends. Joe Geese from Electric Paddle, Dick Anderson from System 3 Epoxies. Chuck and Sandra Leanweber were up from Duckworks. And then I was over at the Small Craft Advisor booth, talking to them. Got to see John Wilsford. Designers do talk to each other. He's been quite successful with his little scamp. It's been a popular little design. I've got something a little different than that in the works. I've got a 16-foot version of the Granville Bay. Beautiful boat, If you like the 12-foot version, you're going to love the 16. Very, very photogenic. Get in there. I could have just gotten my pin nailer out. Okay. Except I had to cross myself first. You'll notice I haven't been doing this for a while. Biggest thing I'm trying to get now is make sure everything's in square. Okay, that should be enough to hold it in place. I'll see how much goober I got left. Scrape it in. And you can see why I didn't want to waste a tube. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to have to glue at this stage. As you can tell, the barn door is open. Surprising how very little of this stuff holds. I might mix up just a little bit more and come back along the perimeter up here. That's the nice thing about mixing out of the tube, is that take the cap and this little plug out and you dump it right into the cup a little bit or a lot. So okay, I'm going to mix up some more and go around a little bit here, so we'll come back later. Well, it's the next day, so we're going to take some of these clamps off. I have another wooden spring clamp on the other side over here. My hand in there, yeah, down to hold this bulkhead in. I forgot to GelMagic it to the lip here, and then once it's set up tomorrow, then I've got a couple screws holding it to the old boards that I put in to hold the seat originally. So then I can take it off and do a fillet on the back side of this seam here. But we'll go ahead and pull these screws out. On the plans that build plans, I probably won't have any screws in here. You'll just locate it and epoxy it in place, even though the screws kind of make it handy to install. But once everything is GelMagic and filleted around the bottom, you're pretty much okay. So here we got our GelMagic seams. Now we got our little box we can take off and fill it on the inside. Set that out of the way. Some people may not want the dagger board. have them here, so just imagine that none of this is existing. So you're going to come in with your cardboard parts, and you're going to have a distance back here for the oarlock bracket, and then the one for the upper one, forward one here, which is basically about where you would be setting. So the back of the seat would probably be an inch or two behind where these forward oarlocks are, in case you move forward for somebody sitting in the stern. So you would just go ahead and make the plywood outline. Just tape it up like this, and except you'd have four sides. Well, you wouldn't need, as long as they were symmetrical, but when you're doing this, you might as well put the cardboard on the other side too. Yours will probably just come across here, and you can add these pieces to fit the V. Same with the side. I would probably cut these side panels straight across, or maybe up 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch, and the front end would be straight across too. You can fill in with other pieces of cardboard to get the shape of the V. But whenever I do a pencil thing, the pencil is always laying flat, and you just drag it along until you get, and then take your scissors and whittle it off until you get down, and then put a level on top here somewhere so that you know your level. And the drawings, plan drawings, I show it with a dagger board, but the dagger board is going to have a couple little ears out here. And then you'll take, if you've seen one of the Granville Bay videos, I take some 2x2s and set across here. And so they all extend back to the back seat and up here to the bow seat. And then you'll use those 2x2s to hold in. You'll cut 2x2s in here to support the face and the top on both the bow and the stern seat. And then you'll use those long 2x2s to gauge the height so that they're all the same. The bow and stern seat, usually I rake them a little bit so that the top, or the leading edge of the bow seat and the trailing edge of the stern seat are just tipped a little bit so water will drain off. But for Barry in Canada, hopefully you haven't been waiting for me to do this, but yeah, you just put a box in the middle as big as you want. I think we're 13 inches here by about 18 inches to give yourself enough room to slide forward in case you take a passenger along. So let me go ahead and we'll go over and fill at the inside of our wooden case.